Look, with all this, weren't there quite a few contingency plans already in place to provide a pretty good service, certainly on things like the West Coast Main Line?
Exactly right, Stephen. Now, first of all, even though, as we heard the news yesterday that, and this came in about 3:30 in the afternoon, way too late for anything much to happen about getting trains reinstated for today. Of course, great joy around the nation that these interminable national rail strikes, which have been making life a misery for rail travellers for the past 5 months or so, are finally appear to be possibly at an end, involving the RMT Union as well. Of course, other strikes on other unions are available, and we might be hearing more about those soon. But yes, if you are thinking, great, everything back to normal, it could not be further from the truth. I've had a look, for example, there are no trains today from Aberdeen, no trains from Exeter. If you want to catch a train, the first one I've identified in the wild, although your lovely viewers may know better than me, is the 7:16 from Charing Cross in London to Tattenham Corner. Then gradually things wake up, because there were plans to run a service generally between about 7:30 and 6:30 tonight, and those will continue, all the trains that were planned. Basically, a few commuter services around London, Birmingham, Leeds, Manchester, Liverpool, Glasgow, Edinburgh, plus a number of long-distance services, particularly, as you say, the West Coast Main Line, Liverpool, Manchester, Preston to London. Trains every hour on the Great Western Railway from Oxford, from Cardiff and from Bristol to London. And actually, it's a better service for this strike day, which now isn't a strike day, than we've seen before. And I'm just wondering whether actually the number of trains that the rail industry was running kind of slightly alarmed the union, because they realised that their strike wasn't as solid as they would very much like it to be when they vowed to shut down the railways.
Well, as you said, other strikes are available, so there's still a lot of sorting out to do. But it is nevertheless quite good. And I think a lot of people watching at the moment and listening on the radio will be thinking, whoopee, thank goodness, it means Christmas is back on.
Exactly. And that's been part of the problem, Anne. Exactly as you say, the uncertainty. Nobody rationally could have planned a trip between now and Christmas, say travelling from somewhere in Great Britain. This, by the way, hasn't affected Northern Ireland at all. Somewhere in Britain to London for Christmas, booking a hotel and so on, because you have no idea if your train is going to be running. And you still don't know, in the sense that Mick Lynch, the boss of the RMT, said, actually, our dispute is still live, and in 10 days from now, we're getting the result of a ballot to extend the industrial action. But even so, things are looking a bit better than they were. And the main problem is for the travel industry, for the rail industry, to remind people that just because the strike's off, it doesn't mean you can go straight to your local station and get on a train. Nothing I can see in Dorset, in Devon, in Cornwall, in Wales, beyond about 20 or 30 miles from Cardiff. Nothing in Scotland, north of Cowdenbeath. There's a 7:20 to Cowdenbeath if you want to go to that lovely Fife town, by the way, from Edinburgh, Waverley. But it's going to be a very limited service on about half the rail network. Things will get better. Monday was, of course, the next strike. Things will get kind of 50% better, I should think, by then. And it will all depend on the line you were on. For instance, the East Coast Main Line with LNER, they're hoping to run a much better service by Monday. The West Coast Main Line, Avanti West Coast, who are having big problems with their staff anyway, they say, no, you're going to get the strike timetable on Saturday or Monday on Wednesday, which will be fairly thin. But the message is from everybody involved: check before you try to make a journey that you'll be able to get there, and more to the point, they'll be able to get back, because there will be trains closing down at sort of 6:30 in the evening, and on some lines, even by Wednesday, your last train, say from London, could be in the middle of the afternoon.